That's a gay-ass podcast.
What? That's a gay-ass podcast. What? A really, really, really gay podcast that we call That's a Gay-Ass Podcast.
That's a gay-ass name for a gay-ass podcast.
Welcome back to That's a Gay-Ass Podcast, the podcast that asks, whose fault is it that you're gay? It is me, Eric Williams, and my friend Dan is this week's guest, which you know him as Grossy Pelosi, a perfect Instagram follow and the perfect author of Let's Party, which is his new book that is absolutely divoon. There's a reason why I will have him on this podcast any fucking chance I get, because he is a perfect gay-ass gab. So please, enjoy my girl, Dan Pelosi. Grossy motherfucking Pelosi, your shirt says you opened 2 gifts this morning. What else does it say? They were your eyes, bitch. She is grateful to be alive. Dan Grossy Pelosi, did you know that you might be one of the first people to be a 3-peat guest on That's a Gay-Ass Podcast?
I was hoping that we would talk about that because I'm not going away. There will be a 4th.
I think so too. I think every time you either come out with a gorgeous book or just open your gorgeous eyes, I want you to come on this gay-ass pod.
I'm here. I just get to talk about stuff that I don't get to talk about here, you know?
Well, and the last time you came on, I think the title of the episode was like, Let's Eat Ass. So,
yeah. So that helped sell the book.
Well, and I want to help sell this gorgeous book. It's Let's Party.
Let's Party.
First of all, I've been devouring this book, and I have so many hot, gossipy questions about the book. But before we get into the stunning photos, the stunning recipes, Dan Grossy Pelosi, you've been posting about the Gilded Age, and I have not yet started. Am I too late to start watching?
You haven't started season 3, or you haven't started the show?
Girl, I haven't started the show. Am I too late?
No. I've been talking about this a lot because there's a lot of people who've never watched it and a lot of people who've watched like 2 episodes and were like, this sucks. Now, I have to say, the first season is slow. It's a lot of character development. It's a great like sit and zone out vibe. The sets are gorgeous. The people, like there's some really iconic performances, right? Season 2 is the gayest thing you've ever seen. It's the opera wars. So they're like fighting over what the opera house is in Manhattan. So good. This past season has literally knocked my tits off. The season finale was last night and I was screaming at the television.
No, that's what people are saying. And I feel like as a person who literally asks people about character actresses to not watch a show featuring Christine Baranski, Carrie Coon.
Yeah, yes.
All the gals.
Cynthia Nixon, who's like not really a character actress, but also the entire Broadway pantheon of actresses on the show, babe. Like they wrote the show for you.
Wait, they did write it for me. And I actually when I was doing all of my prep, I was wondering, since I love to talk about Broadway on this podcast, have you been seeing any Broadway shows? I feel like we don't talk about theater too much.
I know, it's hard. So Gus goes, because Gus is like theater queen, director, like whatever. Not a musical theater.
Williamstown Theater Festival to Gus. Hello.
Yes, getting papped with Kaya Gerber.
Come on, Paps.
Gus needs to be a 2-time gay-ass podcast guest.
He will.
I don't see Gus anymore. He's too busy for me. So he doesn't love a musical though, and I love a musical, and he likes a play, and So, you know, we mostly are upstate now, so it's harder to get down to the city. Right. And it's also like last year, 2 things were happening. One, I like completely renovated my house and added on my dream kitchen. So it was like quite expensive. So going to see a Broadway play was just a lot to handle. And also like I was so riddled with anxiety last year. I'm better now because I was like making this huge investment and like spending money and didn't have a kitchen and was just like crazy. And I was working on this book. It's just like busy. I couldn't imagine sitting down for 3 hours and like focusing on something. I knew that my brain, I just knew, and it's good to know yourself and not always try and fix it. Like I just had to know that I was not going to be able to sit through a Broadway performance without dissociating to the corner, you know?
Are you then SSRI girly? Like, how did you handle all the anxiety? Because like you, as a person who literally your job is to put gorgeous meals, photos, videos together, and then not having a kitchen while they're renovating your home. Like I could feel by proxy the agita from that. What were you doing to get yourself through?
Well, we had our place in Brooklyn, so I cooked
Right.
there, and then I had my grill up here, and I had a temporary kitchen, so I got through. It just was a lot more work to do anything. And then also the money piece. I'd never really, you know, I should have been sort of celebrating and like standing in my power that I've like built this business that is in celebration of the work that I do, and it's, you know, successful, and I was able to make this business investment that made sense because it wasn't just like mommy wants a new kitchen. It was like Grossy needs to like have an HQ for her brand, right?
You were investing in yourself.
Investing in myself, investing in my business, investing in my future. And that's really powerful and a proud moment, but it's really hard as well to believe in yourself and believe that you're worth such things. So the dichotomy of that was very tough. Thank God for my therapist. I didn't sleep much last year. It was a lot. And and now I'm in this incredible space and I'm so proud and I'm paying off the bills and, you know, we're doing okay, but it's really hard. No one in my family has done that before. Like, no one has done that.
I have a lot of questions about how you're sort of creating a new life that is separate from your family, and also the stress of that being in a relationship, because I am also, you know, dealing with like a lot of self-inflicted. Thank you. Self-inflicted, like high stakes that does infiltrate my life. And so I do want to get into that, but I feel like it's important for me to ask some let's party questions before we go.
Yes, please.
I would love.
I'm here to talk about my baby girl. She's baby girl number 2.
Oh my God. And I have to say, do you remember I was in Idaho last week. My dad is obsessed with Let's Eat, and
so
he maybe asked me 3 times to make sure you saw that he was cooking your marinara.
I saw it. And then I was on Gay's reading podcast last week recording.
Jason, shout out.
With her. We were having the best time ever. And he brought up your dad making my marinara. So your dad.
Well, Jason is a huge friend of the pod and another gay Jewess, and he literally texted me the day he was interviewing you. But we love our gay podcast. We love Gays Reading. But this book is just like, I think what you do so well is, sure, are the recipes absolutely divine? Yes, but you actually give really actionable ways to have people over. And for a girl like me who doesn't have the skills, I'm luckily married to somebody who's really good at it, but you have a section in your book that is all about sort of rules to live by. There's a section called How to Not Get Invited Back,
yes.
Which I think is really, really important. Yes. You say, do not bring a surprise +1. Do not show up late. I am also a punctual girlina. Here's a question.
Yes.
How do you feel if you have plans to hang out with somebody? You show up thinking it was just you girlies, and there are people there that you had no idea were invited. Are you cool, or is it a newel?
It's like not a dinner. It's just like a hang. I don't love that.
Just a hang.
I don't love it. I don't love that. I like to know everything.
Do you tell the people if you throw a dinner party, do you tell your guests who is on the list in total?
Yes. Oh yeah. Like I'm not like gatekeeping information. I like so much of what I talk about here is just like, you know, planning. The inspiration for this book is a menu, right? So like growing up in an Italian-American, Portuguese-American family, you did not step foot in someone's house without knowing what you were going to be fed. Like we talk about what we're eating for dinner at lunch, and for lunch at breakfast. And then at dinner, we talk about what we're eating for breakfast. Like everyone in the menu is the heart of the gathering. And so that's why I wrote this book focused on menus and menu planning, because I am soothed as sort of a control freak by knowing what's on the menu, whether I'm entertaining people at my house or when I go to someone's house. I like to know.
Are you able to enjoy, if you're going to another dinner party, are you like a type of person that used to work at a restaurant and now you can't go to a restaurant because you're thinking about how the servers are stressed?
I never worked at a restaurant, but I have thrown a lot of dinner parties, and which is why I wrote this book. And I do approach it from a unique perspective. There is sort of a reason why I mostly am the person who hosts. But I do sort of walk in and like, you know, I am always learning, always growing. And I talk about in this book how much I love going to someone's house and finding out how they do things. How do they set the table? How do they decorate? How do they cook? What's on their menu? Like, what are their strengths? How do they lean into their strengths? How do they, you know, like, so for me, the way that I encourage people to entertain and to host is to really think about what they're good at and what they love, and then ask for help with things that they're not. And so I love to be asked to participate in someone else's home. What's hard for me is when people don't know how to ask for help and perhaps they need it. And I have a really hard time not stepping in because I come from a family of women who do not fuck around.
Do you step in then with
it depends. You know, I used to be much more brazen. I used to like come in and open your fridge and be like, honey, the mayonnaise, like what is it? It's expired. Like, what are we doing? You know, but now it's like, you know, I've learned, I've grown, I've gone through therapy. I'm 43. Like, I don't do that as much, you know. I did pitch a reality show once where I'm like the host and I walk into someone's house and I like fucking tear it apart and like start just being like, but, and I was like, I don't really want to be that gay guy though. You know what I mean? I was for a while, but then you realize that like that doesn't land as well. So
you're more now gay barefoot Contessa. I feel like you need just like, we need to see Gary, but it's Gus.
Yeah, we need to see, and his name is Jeffrey, but yes, and Gus. But I think
and I called him Gary because
no one needs to see
I'm
Gary.
on 4 hours of sleep. Sorry
no,
about
it's
that.
Fine. What I think is like meeting people where they're at, and that's my approach. And I think that's where this book I love, because it meets you where you're at. It suggests, do you want to throw the whole party, or do you want to invite people over and give them a recipe from this book and everyone makes the menu together? Are you the kind of person who plans a party a month out, or are you a person who plans a party 2 days out? And I give you sort of like how my thought process can work in all those directions. Do you have a ton of plates and bowls and platters, or are you using a colander as a bread basket? Like, there's no wrong answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's what I do love also about just like your essence is you do know a good boundary. And I think that when it comes to when the party is over, you have a great part of the book where you say it's okay to say, this has been so fun, but it's approaching my bedtime.
Yeah.
Now, what time does Grossy Pelosi like to retire? And follow up, does the time change depending on when you're with your girls or with your gays?
It doesn't change. I'm like pretty, like if you're at my house past 9:30, like there's a miracle. Like I really, you know, I think something that we all need to learn about ourselves is like, we are not fun if we're not having fun, right? And so like, if you are in a position, a place where you're not having fun, or you're heading somewhere and you know it's not going to be fun, you're actually going to ruin the vibe for everyone else because you're not fun. And so, and that's okay. You know, it's I say this all the time, like, you kids have fun, I'll stay here. Like, that's the kind of mom I am, right? Like, Gus loves a lake, a swimming hole, like he's jumping in puddles. And I'm like, bitch, I will be over here. Like, I don't want to do that. And you don't want me to be in that swim hole with you. Because I will be like Meryl Streep in River Wild, except I'm the first person who died. I'm not the survivor. You know what I mean? So, no, but so I think, like, that's why I say in the book, I'm like, you and the party, it will give most of your guests the relief they need to know that they can leave. Because people don't know when to sit down to eat. They don't know when to leave. They don't know all the in between. Tell them, I need help. Dinner is served. Welcome. We'll be eating. You know what I mean? Those kind of things.
We're all walking toddlers, babe. We all need.
It's not even that, but I think it could be that.
Well, I just think we appreciate guidance and guardrails.
Be a leader, right? Be a leader, and also tell people to go home, because if people want to keep partying, they will go somewhere else. Like they will find a bar, they'll find someone else's house. You're not going to ruin their night. You're just going to bring them to a place that will continue to be fun because the fun has closed here.
Yes. Will you give me a line reading of when hey, we're talking about Mamma Mia 3. Is Cher gonna do it? And then you're like, Mama wants to go to bed. Can you give me the line reading?
This has been so fun, but it's approaching my bedtime.
Yeah. Totally. Let's get out of here. Do you guys want to go to Metropolitan? I think
actually you should. And you can totally walk there. It's so great. Just take a ride out of the apartment. It'll take you 3 minutes. Look for the Dunkin' Donuts on the corner.
Done.
Right?
Go
whatever.
Suck a dick, you girls.
Yeah, go suck a dick somewhere else because mommy's tired, And also, I do talk about as well, sometimes, I have that one friend who I know that she's going to stay later than everyone else, but she's going to help me with the dishes. She's going to help tidy. We're going to gossip. So fun, right? Oftentimes, I have people at my house because I live in upstate New York and I'm not in the city very often, so people will sleep over. And even then, I'm like, I'm going to go to bed and they can stay up and still do their thing, and that's fine. Or they go to bed too.
I really love that. This is, since this is a hard-hitting question podcast and I'm a gay journalist, have you ever not invited someone because they're vegan?
No. Gus's dad's vegan.
Shout out.
Yeah. And his mom mostly eats vegan. No, I absolutely not. I think that what I love about the menus in this book is I am trying to create a situation where you're not cooking a whole other thing for the person with a special diet, right? There's something for everyone. And also as a vegetarian, not so much a vegan, because vegan, there's so many, the thing about being gluten-free or vegan is you just have to know your subs. You gotta know, any good dom, you gotta know your subs. So if you're gluten-free, you just use any gluten-free flour, pasta, panko. If you're vegan, you use your vegan, your dairy-free cheeses. You can cook this book, right? So there's that. But I also love, on the Thanksgiving menu, which is called Giving Thanks, because that's what the day is about. There's a lasagna. It's called Don't Tell Your Nana About This Lasagna. And it's a gorgeous main dish for vegetarians on Thanksgiving, because otherwise they're just scrounging on the sides, So it's I welcome them and I want them to feel like they were part of the original script. They're not an edit or something that gets put on the cutting room floor.
I think that's so divine. And I think that the way that you give people the tools to create a party that makes everybody feel like they're actually a part of it is so fun, because here's the deal. The pictures in this book not only include, of course, I've definitely clocked some gorgeous Gus hairy chest up in here, gorgeous family pics. And you have such a great relationship with your family. Before I ask about how you've maintained this closeness with the straights in your life, can I ask you the returning Gay Ass Podcast question, which is, what is keeping you gay today, Grossy Pelosi?
What's keeping me gay today?
Yeah.
Honestly, and we already talked about this and I'm going to talk about it again, but the Gilded Age, because there's this one character who we call the Clock Twink, who's absolutely the cutest boy in the whole world. And he's part of because it's very upstairs, downstairs, which was Julian Fellowes' first, I think it was the name of his first show. So there's the rich people and then there's the staff, and the Clock Twink is part of the staff. I am more in love with him than anyone in my entire life. And then there's also one of the characters on the show is very much a closeted gay. And I can't tell you too much, but there's a scene in the end of the third season with Christine Baranski, who is his mother, because of course Christine Baranski gave birth to a gay man. That is it's just so good. And the way that I was screaming alone last night in my TV room at the television, I was like, I know I'm gay.
Yeah, when a gay man screams at a scene with Christine Baranski in a closet case son, I think it is an affirmation.
Yeah.
Have you are you classically into twinks? Has that been something has that been a part of your journey?
No, I'm not. I like a beefy, give me your boyfriend, or your husband or wherever, however, or your lesbian life partner, whatever. And he knows it. Matt knows it. Okay. Let's be clear.
I love. No, by the way, you're one of many people to come on here and thirst after my husband, and it is a beautiful compliment.
Oh, absolutely. I love when guys thirst after Gus. I'm like, take him, baby. He's all yours. But bring him back.
I thirst after. I mean, I'm telling you, like, people get so understandably eye rolly when I talk about chest hair, but Gus is just delivering the goods. And there truly are pictures in this book that I'm like, oh, I noticed that fur anywhere.
I was art directing. Don't worry. There's many audiences for this book. But yes, I just think like, there's something, the way that this show in a time when there's nothing to do, like there's these people, Gus was talking about this last night because he has a different relationship with the show, but he's like, a neighbor drops by and it is like, there's tea and like those waits out and like, oh, Mrs. Bella, how have you been? And oh, I've heard. And then it's like, they're always taking meetings and they're like salon. Like they just make a big to do about everything. And every waking moment of their day, their hair is done and they're in makeup and they're wearing dresses. And like, it's just so presentational and fancy and gorgeous. And it's like the opposite of our sloppy ass, like, am I wearing pants now? Who knows? Like, you know what I mean? Like I could be not wearing pants. Yeah,
don't pan the camera down to me.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, it's so gay in this very restrained way. Like the thirst that the characters get on the show without even revealing any inch of their skin is like, that's when you know that you're a huge fag.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was talking with a gorgeous queen named Alexis Bevels, who is one of the hosts of IMHO, the show, in my homosexual opinion. And we were joking about how back in the day, how if you showed an ankle, it was so controversial because they never showed any skin. Yeah. But nowadays, to make any sort of controversial showing of anything, you have to show like literal dick neck. Yeah. Because everything is so just like,
yeah. And it's so boring. Out. This is why when I watch porn or when I, more importantly, read my stories, I need a lot of context. I need a world building. I need...
Where are you talking about like erotica?
Yeah, like my stories.
What is it, nifty.org? Or where are you finding these?
Yeah, Nifty.
And you're still reading?
Oh, yeah. We've talked about this before. I'm like 80 stories deep on shit. You know what I mean? Like there's character building. And that's what I love about the Gilded Age, because season 3 is so good now because we've spent 2 seasons building characters. So you can like get so hard for someone because you know them so well.
Well, then the context goes deep and so does your lust and also the depth of what you want to do to them. When I was in my St. Louis closet days, nifty.org was huge for me because I would read like camping trip lore. Anytime they mentioned stars in a tent, I said,
I think that specificity is so beautiful. Like I love a specific bitch. You know what I mean? Like I just love specificity. Like, I think it's so beautiful because we live in such a broad world where everyone has a white kitchen. Everyone has like, the same car. Cars all look the same. Like a Honda drives by. Is it a Kia? It's like, no, I want specificity. Like that's like, it was really important. I'm bringing it back to the book, but it was very important to me in this book to have like very pointed menus. There's like a tomato chapter and everything's about tomatoes. There's a fish chapter. And I give you sort of how I'm taking old traditions and I'm bringing them, to sort of my world. And I talk about like how the dips by the pool is like a very specific way that I would serve people when I was on Fire Island. And then you can like reuse the dips for dinner. Like it's like every recipe, every menu, everything has like an intention and a specificity. And even the way that we styled it, they're all meant to look like they're on the same table being served together. It makes me so happy.
Well, you've always had that eye for design and specificity. And I know that like your mom is a big part of your hosting journey. Her guide of cleaning in the last book was like rocked the internet and rocked the world. Would you say that you inherited that from her? Was it something that you developed as a faggy kid? What was how did you become such a detailed queen?
It's definitely like moms and aunts who are like crafty girls. Like my mom's mom was she grew up in New York City, and she was a seamstress. She made insane clothing. She upholstered furniture. She made everything she ever wore, everything her kids wore. Her basement was like mood fabrics. I would walk around and be like, bolts of fabrics. And she had like 3 or 4 different, like, you know, sewing machines, and we'd be making clothes for my Barbies when I was a kid. And like my mom is like crafty and was making like, you know, those like suburban flags that were like color blocked and like a flower or like whatever. My mom made those and sold them, and I was like art directing them. And so, you know, and like there was a hyper creativity to me, but I was born into a family that had very creative people. Like my aunt's a quilter and a hairdresser, and like, you know, there's my uncle Phil, rest in peace, was on the board of directors for the Miss Connecticut beauty pageant. So like, you know, there was just, I mean, I have the t-shirt collection that I inherited from him of every Miss Connecticut. Like, yeah, it's
Wait,
yeah.
So you were kind of born in a way, like I know that you yourself are a faggotrini and your family have many straights that we love, but you were kind of born into a very gay family. Because it's like so much emphasis on design.
Yeah, design, like, yeah, everything is very. I was allowed to redecorate my house 3 times when I was a kid. I would paint murals on my bedroom wall. I was in art programs. I mean, I was making Halloween costumes. Like I was making hemp necklaces and selling them. I have this thing that it's on my desk. That's actually on Gus's desk. I made it when I was in like 3rd grade. I would make like my friend Rob Straight would make these little like pencil holders out of like a 2x4, and then I would paint them. So he would do like the labor, and then I would paint it, and then we would like sell them to kids, and everyone in our class had these little pencil holders. They were so cute.
Oh, so you've also always been an entrepreneur.
Oh, she's a girl boss. Yeah.
Sometimes we on this podcast, like, as you know, get into some like kind of therapy-y questions, and I am fresh off of truly crying all of an hour and a half ago. It was a good cry. It was a good cry. So let me get a question about family stuff with your gayness. With the closeness with your family, how clued in are they to the gay parts of your life? Because I find that it's an interesting tension as an adult to keep a closeness with the straights in your life, the straights in your family, but also feel like you're not hiding parts of yourself. How do you seem to like bridge the gap of being authentically you and your gay fabulosity, but also close with the people that might not understand it?
You know, I think I'm very like on the internet, and I share a lot of my life. And I think that does the work, because I'm not afraid to do that. I think that does the work of sort of filling people in on my existence. And so like everyone is following me on Instagram, and like everyone in my family, and they're getting all the tea because I'm spilling it all, right? And I think that I've been with Gus for over 4 years now. And I think that Gus, which is like truly my like real serious like relationship, I've had some others, but like that has sort of like, it's sort of brought it all to life for them, because my family is like very like relationship focused. Like everyone has a partner. Like it's very... Or even if they're not in a relationship, like that, it's like a small town, simple thing. And so they kind of can see that I now have found my person, and it's a man, and it's kind of like finally answered the question that they knew the answer to it. But now they're sort of like, this is it. And like, you are building a life together. And, you know, and Bimpy is so cute. Like Bimpy, my grandfather, who's 104, icon legend. Every time I see him, if Gus isn't with me, he's like, where's Gus? What's he doing? What's he up to? And it's just really sweet. And he's like, it's so nice that you two just get to live together, and you be your best friends, and, you know, you're like roommates, right? Like, it's just so cute. And like, I don't know that he thinks that we're gay or not, because like I haven't explicitly been like, we're like faggots, but I mean, like, what other answer is there, you know? And he just, the way that he phrases it is just really sweet. And he sees him as like, if he isn't with me, like something's wrong, you know, which is like kind of all you want. It's really sweet.
I mean, speaking of the Gilded Age, a 104-year-old man who is seeing his grandson live his bliss with a gorgeous man like Gus. I think it's like the older the person is in our life, and then the more they show any interest in our partners or gay parts of our lives, like the better it feels. Like my Bimpy in my life is named Poppy, and he's turning 97 this year. And
So
he when he asks about Matt as well, or when he sees Matt, it's like, I don't want to say that it's like lucky that they accept, but it's just even more meaningful because they're from a time when it was literally against the law.
No, totally. And, you know, my uncle, who never really came out as anything and still, you know, doesn't, you know, even in his death, he lived with my grandfather, Bimpy, and my grandma his whole life until he died when he was 69. And so there was a level of visibility, but also vagueness that I witnessed for so long. And so it feels really nice to be sort of like I'm not being vague. Like, I feel like I'm really just, there's no question. So
You're pointed.
really
You're a
like.
pointer sister.
Yeah. And I think people really respond to it. I get really beautiful messages from people who follow me, and from a lot of young gays too, who aren't really being modeled relationships that look like mine, for better or worse.
Well, this is what I want. I really want to like glean from you as a friend and a fan, is that you're so good about being yourself, having these boundaries. In fact, a video that came up that made me think of you was a one Miss Whoopi Goldberg, who recently said, the risk of being yourself, I'm paraphrasing, she goes, the risk of being fully yourself is not being liked. You have to be okay with the fact that obviously many people will love who you are, but some people will not. I myself, part of the reason I was crying in therapy is like, I'm still grappling with the idea that I have been told I'm too much, and I'm trying to accept the fact that even if I am quote unquote too much, I'm allowed to accept myself.
Yeah.
You seem to accept yourself, protect yourself. Was that innate, or was that learned in therapy? How did you teach yourself to sort of like fuck the haters and post all the Instagram stories you post without worrying that it's too much?
I still get told it's too much, but like the thing that's so lovely, and that comes with a certain level of privilege, because obviously there's so much going on in the world where people don't have a choice to do really much with their life because they're battling much larger things. But we get to choose. Like, we get to choose who our friends are. We get to choose who our family is. And, you know, and by that I mean, like, you have to be able to say no to certain people if they're not harmful or if they're not helpful. And you get to choose who you follow on social media. Like, you get to make all of these decisions, but you have to do it from a place of like security and like knowing who you are and what you like. And that has come a lot through therapy. Which it sounds like you're, you know, also doing. And I think, you know, there's so many ways, speaking of privilege, to find therapy, whether it's on a sliding scale, however you can get perspective on, you know, it's like when you're cooking and you make something and you taste it and it doesn't taste good, you learn, right? But I think it's really hard to, like, for me, it's like, okay, you can kind of be like, oh, the tomato paste, there was too much, or there's not enough salt. But it's really hard when you're like a human with a psyche and like emotions to know what, like, you don't even know what the wrong ingredient is, right? So to have a professional help you reflect with your own personal recipe, I think is really, really, really special and really helpful. And then from there, you get to start making really good decisions on what works for you. So like, I try my best as a person who shares so much on the internet to let people know explicitly why they should or should not be following me. Because if you're not in on what I'm doing, then get out. Like, I don't need you here, and you don't need me. Like, if my presence isn't good for you, then like, it's not good for, like, bye. You know what I mean?
But if your presence is not good for them, you're still able to tell yourself that your presence is of value. I think the hard thing that I sometimes deal with is like, if one person thinks a certain bad thing about me, I have to make sure to say that does not make me a bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, it doesn't. Of course not. Because like there's a reason why you're doing what you're doing, and like you are all like on this journey. And so regardless if it was the right decision or the wrong decision, like you have to like believe in that and believe in yourself. And it's not easy, but it's like really important, because otherwise you're like a hoarder. You're like collecting the trash, you're keeping it, you don't know why it's there. you can't get rid of it because it's too emotional. Like, no,
You got a clean house, babe.
Every object you
Emotionally
see
clean
behind
house.
me and in my house, I have a lot of shit, but all of it makes me happy. And I throw stuff out regularly.
Okay, that is a very good analogy because I have a birthday in like a month, and I've been thinking last year I threw a party for my birthday that like stressed me the fuck out every day leading up to it, and the morning after the party I was like relieved it was over. So I was like, well, that was a lesson. So as I'm turning 36 this year, and I'm like, what if I like have like an ice cream party with like 10 people and I keep it really small, and I'm not going to worry about like if I'm excluding anybody. It's just like so if we get back to the let's party of it all, let's say like you have a great section about having mug parties in your first apartment in the West Village. I was going to say
the ice cream sundae recipe in the mug party chapter is your birthday.
That's what inspired this.
That is the best. It's one of the best recipes in the book.
And by the way, it really inspired me because you basically, the reason why this book, your books now, plural, are always so helpful is that you give personal stories that like immediately relate to my life. So you said that your first apartment was this tiny West Village place. There was barely room to entertain, but then this mug party idea came where like everything can be eaten from a mug. So before I want advice about my ice cream party, speaking of mugs, what do you look like in drag?
What do I look like in drag? Wait, can I tell you the best read? I love my girls in the DMs because they know, the majority of them know how to read the fuck out of me in the way that makes me so happy. And someone the other day, I posted a photo of Gus with his mustache and his little like unbuttoned shirt. And they were like, if you and Gus have not yet done Val and Armand from the Birdcage for Halloween, you absolutely have to. In the way that what just flashed into your head, if you know what Gus looks like and you know what I look like, is so fucking powerful.
You're the Nathan Lane. Gus is the Robin Williams.
Yes.
I mean,
that's what I look like in drag.
Bitch. By the way, I rewatched The Birdcage on a plane recently, and honey, it holds up.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Wait, do you do couples costumes?
We don't really do. I don't know if Halloween is like hard. The last time we dressed up. We were Guido's employees because there was a grocery store near our house called Guido's in Great Barrington, and we were Guido's employees last Halloween. We went trick-or-treating with Morgan Spector from the Gilded Age because we're pals. He lives nearby, and his kids and whatever. He's so hot and the nicest person in the whole world, and it's so hard. We went and we walked by the people who own Guido's grocery store, their house, and they were like, "What are you guys doing?" We're like, "Oh, we're Guido's." They were so cute. But the last time that we did a true couples costume was Gus was Valerie Cherish and I was Mickey, which Gus got really hard because he loves like older men, and so I had like sprayed my hair gray, and he was like, "Oh my god."
Oh no, like, Gus and I share in the DMs our love for daddies. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Val. I mean, we're obsessed with the comeback. Like obviously, it's all we want to talk about.
Of course. Well, and God bless, she is coming back.
She's coming back.
Just like your three-peat on the podcast, we're getting a three-peat Valerie Chair.
And Dan Bukatinsky followed Gus the other day on Instagram, which was crazy. So we were like screaming.
And if any gay-ass listeners want to go back, Dan Bukatinsky was on this pod, and
He was?
He was.
Girl.
We talked about the comeback. We talked about it all. I mean, it's funny. It's like the world is burning in so many ways, but I do think we need to celebrate the wins, which is that Valerie Cherish is coming back, that there are, character actresses being employed.
I said this when Trump got elected, which was along the journey of shit imploding. Like community is going to be the key. Like you need to have your 10-person ice cream party. You need to invite people over for dinner. You need to say yes when someone invites you to their house. And you need to gather in spaces that feel really good with people that make you feel really good. And you need to say no when you're invited to shit that's not going to make you feel good.
Amen. Can you then help me with my ice cream party? Is 10 a good amount of people? And what do they bring? Any advice for me? What do they bring? What do I supply? Like, how do I make it work?
Well, I mean, so one, there's the recipe in my book, which is inspired by a magic 7-layer magic bar, which has like
Yes.
the coconut and the caramel and the chocolate. So you could just throw that party and you make like homemade chocolate and you homemade hot fudge, you make homemade caramel sauce, you have walnuts, you make a coconut whipped cream, and the whole thing tastes so good. So you could just have that set up, probably double everything and just have that set up. But what I enjoy as well is if you want to have user participation, you can say, bring your favorite ice cream topping, right? Or bring your, and like, so you have all the ice cream. You say, you tell people, I'm going to have hot fudge, I'm going to have whipped cream, I'm going to have sprinkles, I'm going to have nuts. Bring your favorite ice cream topping that isn't that. And then you make a sundae bar and you all just like do whatever and chill and watch silly movies and you just like make ice cream sundaes. And you should probably get really fun vessels. You could do mugs. You could buy like, you know, boats, like banana. Like I'm sure fun, you know, the internet, people always forget the internet exists when they ask me questions that they could Google. But I will tell you, find funny, like, is there like a like, you know, Sunday boats, or like make it silly and like really lean in. It's specificity, right? Like it's about like, this is an ice cream. We're not having pizza. I'm not going to put out chips. You know what I mean? Like we are focusing. If it doesn't have to do with ice cream, like we don't have to worry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So eat your dinner before and then come ready for dessert.
Yeah, exactly. Or have it be in the afternoon, you know, that ice cream social at like 3 p.m. Right?
That actually sounds lovely. Sometimes we forget, we as gay people forget that the daytime exists. But you know,
I know,
Sunday
honey, not me. Okay, I'm up at 6 a.m. and she is booked and busy. She's cleaning her house. She's going to the farmer's market. I'm a daytime girl. I've always been a daytime gay.
We love the daytime culture. Are you?
Name the culture that made you say cultures for you. Sorry, different podcast.
Daytime.
Daylight.
Oh my God! Did you see Bo and Yang's video about the New York Times headline saying it's something like can anyone throw an award show?
Brutal.
But I kind of love, like you're saying that people forget the internet exists. I think I kind of love that now, like people like you, Bo and Yang, you know, actors, actresses, whatever, like you can sometimes see when they remember they have a platform where they can speak straight to cam and cut straight through. Because back in the day, you had to do it through a publicist or through an interview or an article.
And now we're just direct to cam.
Now we're direct to cam.
You know, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, like, I say that when people forget that the internet exists in my world, it's sort of like when you go home to visit your parents. And the way that I do this is I become a puddle in front of my mother. And I'll be like, Mom, can you? And she's like, bitch, like I taught you how to do that. But when you're in the face of that maternal, nurturing mother who raised you, or replace mother with any word that works for you, you sort of fall apart and slip into this like helpless zone. And when people ask me questions, it's mostly shit that they already know, but they need to hear from mom. And I take that I take it as a big compliment.
They want the warm embrace.
Yeah. They need the
of a Dan Grossy Pelosi.
Yeah.
They want to latch, bitch.
Exactly.
Right turn, but I love the puns in the book. And there's a section called Let's Grill Girls. Can you tell me what pop girlies would make a perfect dinner party at your casa? Name the girls that you would love to have around your table.
Oh God, I'm so bad at this. To me, I'm like the Schuyler sisters from Hamilton.
Are they coming back from the dead, or are they the actresses playing them on Broadway?
Well, probably. I just went to this one of the crazy things I'm going to invite you to, which was like the Hamilton like dinner on the stage at the Public Theater, and Lin-Manuel and Renee Elise Goldsberry, who's a queen from Girls Five Eva, which is one of my favorite things in the world, and the other guy. What's his name? Anyways,
Leslie Odom Jr.
Leslie Odom Jr. I almost said like John Wilkes Booth because I was like, is it Sarah Jessica Parker, John Wilkes Booth, Jennifer Love Hewitt?
Well, don't worry. I called Ina Garten's husband Gary, so we're all.
You did.
we're all fighting for our lives over here.
And I was like, this is my kind of music. I'm like not a huge pop. Like I'm not like a huge. Like I know it and I hear it, but I'm not like I loved when Ben Platt sang that Pepsi song because it was like Broadway, but
yes,
you know what I mean? So
On your drive and you go on your
I
thing.
know.
Vibrato.
Yeah.
No, that.
So I like that kind of like really drawn out.
Well, they're saying
rubbish.
all reports coming in are saying there's no song of the summer, which is like.
Well, they were
you
saying,
know,
I think that's the song of the summer now, right? I just posted
I think
about it last
so.
night. I think that is the SOS.
It is SOS.
I was obsessed with Espresso last summer. So she could come.
Okay.
I don't even know who the fuck sings that song. Also, Rachel Platten.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Well, okay, whatever. She's probably 12 teen. You know, I love fight songs. So Rachel Platten could come. That's my song because it's the worst song in the whole world, but it will stick to your literal bones.
Every time I click on a story, when it pops up and your story going, this is my fight. It's like a it's like a trauma response, but a happy trauma response.
Yeah, I'm like, where's my Barry's boot camp? Like, not that I've ever gone there, ever will, but like that, if I did, that would have to be on.
Babe, Barry's boot camp is a cult, and I say that with love and respect for the people who are a part of it, because I've watched Matt be indicted. I've watched our dear friend. He's now doing a 7-day challenge, one Barry's class a day. I say, honey, the marketing is working, and I love that the byproduct is that these people feel healthier and more empowered. I do think it is a religious cult.
I mean, I have a really fucked relationship with diet and exercise. That's a whole other podcast. Speaking of boundaries and therapy.
No, I do too. I literally said last night to these people, I was like, God, I look forward to the day that I don't feel like an 8th grader playing shirts versus skins when I go to any exercise event.
Like, if it works for you, mommy's happy. But like, yeah. I think, I do have I have my like Reba single mom who works 2 jobs. I have my Shania, Let's Go Girls. I also have Unstoppable by Sia, and then I have Fight Song.
I'm unstoppable.
So maybe that's my, every time I play that, because I play I'm a Porsche with no brake, like I can't sing, but do you know how many people are like, I'm today years old that I know that it's Porsche with no brakes, or whatever that thing people say where they're like, today years old. I'm like, what does that mean? But they're today years old because now they know it says, she says Porsche with no brakes. So that's my girls,
I'm a Porsche with no brakes. No, yeah, that makes sense to me that your pop girly dinner is all women over the age of 45.
Oh, yeah.
Besides Sabrina Carpenter.
There's a Lilith Fair documentary that someone's making, which I'm freaking out about.
That's the other. We're in the golden era of documentaries, by the way, and I want to shout those people out.
Do you know who I'm going to see at Tanglewood, which is like the most incredible Berkshire's Art Mom outdoor music venue? I'm going to see Bonnie Raitt. Do you know who Bonnie Raitt is? Do you know who Bonnie Raitt is? She's my boyfriend's mom's like close friend.
You're kidding.
We haven't revealed this to the
Kathy?
readers. Yeah, Kath. Yeah, Catherine.
Bonnie Raitt is Gus's mom's dear friend.
They go hiking and like go out to dinner and shit.
Okay, this is my favorite genre right now of famous women, which is women who have made a big mark on culture but are also aged. Because I was in and aged is a compliment and thank God. I was in Sun Valley, Idaho with my family. Long story. And my sister-in-law, her family has a place there, so I guess that's the full story. And they saw Carole King at the grocery store, and I said to myself, imagine you make me feel shopping for mac and cheese.
That's insane. Can I tell you a story about my grocery store that just made me think of this? Speaking of aged women, do you know the clothing store j.jill?
j.jill, yes.
j.jill. I was at the Big Y in Great Barrington a few months ago, and the woman checking me out, her name tag says j.jill, and she's like very j.jill age. And I'm like, oh my God, like j.jill, like people must ask you all the time, like, j.jill, like such an, and she goes, no, I am j.jill.
You met Jay?
And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, I started the clothing store like up here in the Berkshires like years ago, and I sold it, and now I just like work here because I love it, and it like keeps me alive. And I was like,
everyone has a story, and j.jill herself.
j.jill is checking me out at Big Y. Like, as that's what's keeping me alive as a gay man.
It's being
j.jill's like, what are you doing with this whole milk and why is there 5 gallons? You know what I mean? Because I'm like recipe testing pudding and she's like, what's happening? You know, but I'm like,
j.jill checking you out with 5-gallon whole milk. It rings true for me, and that's
the most me thing that's ever happened. And I literally was like, I don't even know who to tell. You know what I mean?
Well, you tell Eric Williams on That's a Gay Ass Podcast on your third appearance. So exactly. You were checked out by j.jill.
j.jill. It's like that's like fucking J. Crew. You know what I mean? That's like not a person.
Yeah. That's as if I was at Trader Joe's and I can't find the cookie butter ice cream, and then I say, hey, can you help me? Oh, J. Crew.
Yeah, or like Lane Bryant, or like, you know what I mean? It's like literally like
Taylor,
where I worked for years.
My ex-boyfriend's first job was at Lady Foot Locker, and I wear that with a badge of honor.
That's a great drag name. Now,
Lady, welcome to the stage,
Lady Foot Locker. She's on the Gilded Age. Her name is Lady Foot Locker because they like announce.
Always bustled.
They announce people when they walk in. Like there was 2 balls in the finale last night. 2 balls, and they announce you when you walk into the ball. And they would say, and now Lady Foot Locker. That would be really good.
Maybe that's you at your next mug party, full beef. Exactly. Lady Foot Locker. Lady Foot Locker. You're wearing a black and white striped shirt. Listen, since we're talking about j.jill, we're talking about Miss Lady Foot Locker. Dan Grossy Pelosi, I am going to ask you the final podcast question, which the answer can change on the daily. And that question is, if the world was ending, you could only save one character actress, who would you save today?
It would be, and this is such good timing, it would be Ashley Atkinson, Lie. She plays...
Oh, I Gilded Age, and I've been clued in.
She plays Mrs. Fish. Mrs. fucking Fish is her name.
Bitch.
The best character on the Gilded Age because she's a gay man, okay? She's such a fucking, like, she reads everyone. She's at the heart. She's the gossip queen. She keeps it real. Okay. This actress is so fucking good. And then she also plays Carrie's editor on And Just Like That.
So I'm on her Wikipedia, and I have seen her name pop up. I've seen, because I'm like the first person who should be watching the Gilded Age, so I'm like clued into all like the internet memeage. But it's like she seems to be like the girl that we would be very safe with gossiping over cafeteria lunch.
Literally a safe space. And then last night, after I'm screaming, like taking photos of her, posting on my stories that I would die for Mrs. Fish, I go to I do what you do. I'm on the Wikipedia. I'm on her IMDb. I go to her Instagram. She fucking follows me.
What?
That's when you're like, okay, faggot, you made it.
And bitch, you made it. The character actress that you love from the Gilded Age on Osh Bay already follows a Miss Grossy Pelosi.
She's a Grossy girl. Mrs. Fish is a Grossy girl.
Eat the Mrs. Fish, bitch.
Yeah,
it is so
I wrote the Fishing
divine.
For Compliments chapter for her. Mrs. Fishing
and
for Compliments.
Listen, we shout her out. We shout you out. And if I can, a very genuinely butter your biscuit. When I first had you on the podcast, I was telling friends the other day that I was interviewing you. And I asked you on as just a fan. And the fact that I can now count you as a friend and someone that I can like DM with a random question, I feel that Ashley Atkinson is one of the many people who are blessed to have you in their lives. And it would be one thing just to know you as like a good girly that I enjoy kikiing with, but it's another thing to be able to like so proudly support the work that you do that is absolutely next levels bonkers good. You guys, the recipes, the pictures, I'm a dessert queen, the desserts that they give you, the different ways to like throw a perfect night, gay, straight, or otherwise. It's out on September 2nd, and I think every single person listening would very much benefit from owning all of Grossy Pelosi's books and following him. So I just want to make sure that they know that September 2nd is around the corner. And so pre-order, go and just live your fucking party bliss with this book.
It would make me so happy. I do want to just say it's called Let's Party.
What
if
did I
you're
say?
looking for it, and you'll probably link
Okay.
it somewhere. But it's called Let's
You know,
Party.
it's linked in the description. It's all of course,
it's
because
all
I'm
there.
literally recording an audio podcast. Let's Party, recipes and menus for celebrating every goddamn day. I added the goddamn.
No
and
days off.
Dan, I just adore you, and I'm already counting down the hours until we have your 4th appearance.
I'm so ready. I want to get on like the After Hours like Dirty podcast.
Oh, do it. Yeah. We'll release it on Substack. In fact, Ask and You Shall Receive. I'll make sure, maybe I'll do a duo episode with you and Gus for that.
Oh, that would be really fun.
Hell,
We would just get disgusting.
Is there anything else you would like to share or plug before we sign off?
I just want to say thank you for having me. And I hope that everyone listening is inspired to check out my new book or my first book. And, you know, if you have any questions for Mom, just shoot me a DM because I'm here for you.
And she answers, bitch.
She does. These fingers,
Dan,
they're tired. I love you so
gay.
much. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to go back.
I love you. Bye. Thanks for listening to That's a Gay Ass Podcast. If you enjoyed this three-peat guest, Dan Pelosi, let me know in the YouTube comments or just leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy this gay-ass godforsaken podcast. If you would like more gay assery, you can follow me on social medias, linked in the description, or by all means, subscribe to the Substack, where there are bonus episodes there that are very spicy and absolutely delicious. That is substack.com/@EricWills. I hope you are enjoying this godforsaken, horrible timeline we're living in. Just take care of yourself, and at the end of the day, stay gay. Bye. You've been listening to That's a Gay Ass Podcast, hosted by me, Eric Williams. If you want to see and hear more, make sure you subscribe to us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, or Patreon at Gay Ass Podcast. That's a Gay Ass Podcast is executive produced by Eric Williams and produced by Nathanael McClure. We'll see you next week.